Today, we're gonna compare the cameras on a Pixel 7 Pro versus the 8 Pro and see if there's any differences.
Now looking at these images side by side, I would say for the most part, they look very identical. From time to time, I'll see one picture to have a bit more vibrance and the other would be brighter in the shadows. But I feel like for the most part, that has to do more with the software. So like 95% of the time, the ultra wide and wide looks very similar. Now for the ultra wide, the 8 Pro has upgraded to the 48 megapixels and it is just a bit wider than the 7 Pro's ultra wide. So if you do need that more epic wider shot, or if you like to flip your phone around to take selfies of yourself or vlog, then definitely that will give you a more better experience. On the 5X, they seem pretty similar for the most part during daytime. And then moving on to 30X, which is the max zoom, I feel like on the 8 Pro, it's really inconsistent. Sometimes it can be better looking than the 7 Pro. A lot of times it's pretty blurry or not as clear as the 7 Pro. And then sometimes it's just clear enough. And maybe the 8 Pro does need some more camera software updates for it to get better, since that is pretty common on Pixels as firmware updates come by throughout the year. Now for portrait mode, the 8 Pro starts at 1.5x and then you get 2x. And I've noticed that the 2x on the 8 Pro doesn't zoom in as much as the 2x on the 7 Pro. But I would say the 2x on the 8 Pro seems to be more usable, or it just looks better and less digitized than a 7 Pro. So I think that is an improvement there. And I would say my skin tone does look more natural on the 8 Pro overall. Now for low light or nighttime in general, I would say this is where you see the biggest difference between the two, and definitely the 8 Pro has been improved. For the wide camera, that's where you will see most of the similarities, but once you start looking at the ultra wide and the telephoto, that's where you can see the biggest difference between the two cameras. For the ultra wide pictures, what stands out to me the most is how clean the sky is versus the 7 Pro. On a 5X, for the most part, it is brighter and more detailed. And then moving on to the max zoom if you need it, I would say still inconsistent. It is still sharper than a 7 Pro, but sometimes it can be darker. If you're a person that takes a lot of photos during nighttime, or if you really like the new ultra wide look, then maybe you can consider upgrading, but from daytime to nighttime for the most part, it is very similar to each other. And for selfies, I feel like the 8 Pro seems to be just a bit sharper, especially when you're taking selfies in really dark areas. For me, I feel like the 8 Pro seems to be one of the better cameras if you like to take selfies. But then I don't really recommend shooting with the front facing camera for the most part, but there are people who just love taking selfies with the front camera. For video, the ultra wide is definitely wider, especially if the subject is closer to you. And for the colors, it seems like on an 8 Pro, it's like a bit more saturated overall. For the wide lens, it is just a bit brighter in some scenarios, and the color seems to pop a bit more as well, but I would say for the most part, it's very similar. On the 5X, I can actually see some background blur, and the colors are definitely more vibrant. The blacks are a little bit deeper. Even though you can still see noise on both of the images, it's not as busy or visible like it's on the 7 Pro. For nighttime, definitely it's much cleaner, sharper. You can see less micro jitters as I'm walking. So video for the ultra wide is definitely much improved. For the wide lens, they look pretty similar. Nothing really stands out to me. The only thing I've noticed is the shadows are just a bit brighter on the 8 Pro. On a 5X, I noticed that sometimes it goes in and out of focus just really quickly. But I feel like the overall image on the 8 Pro seems to be a lot better and it looks less digitized. So overall, where you can see the biggest upgrade is with the ultra wide and also a bit on the 5X. I'm not too sure if it's worth upgrading from the 7 Pro, but if you have anything from the 6 Pro and under, definitely I would say it's a good upgrade. So let me know your thoughts on the new Pixel 8 Pro. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys later.